Hey, what's up, guys? This is Samuel G, and this is another review. This is a review for MYFAROG, which is a game from Varg Vikernes, and this is second edition. So I'm gonna try my best to do a good review. Right off the bat, there's a lot of good reviews on YouTube you can find for this game. For example, there is this is second edition, so there is a good series of review from Red Dice Diaries you can find on YouTube. I'm gonna put the link below. Also, go on Tulean Perspective, which is the YouTube channel of the designer of the game, Barbie Kernes, and you'll find all the information you need for about this game, and also all kind of videos about how the game was developed and the research behind it, and all kinds of explanation about either the setting and the intention behind the game. There is a couple of other review. One I don't quite remember the name of the channel now, but I'm gonna put the link in the description box as well. Now, this game. What I'm gonna say, I'm gonna show you this sentence here. MYFAROG was originally made as an educational tool for homeschooling. This is what I find the most interesting about this game. I was talking about this with Captain Gottnog a couple of years ago about the fact that role-playing games are an amazing educational tool. In all kinds of way, like you can learn basic math, you can learn organization, collaboration, working on your imagination, you learn stuff about language, and depending on what kind of game you play, you can learn stuff like debate, persuasion, rhetoric. It's crazy what you can do with a role-playing game to teach children. And the designer of this game understood it and put it in practice, and this game is exactly what it's trying to be in terms of the intention. So this is an indie press. I think that the designer worked on it for something like 10 years, and there is a lot of love in this game, and you can tell, first in the intention. So it was made especially for his children, because he wanted to teach stuff concerning anthropology and history to his children, and also all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna go in more details about the setting and the mechanics, but this is the intention first and foremost, and this is the thing that I find the most interesting about this game, and I want to put it forward, and so I'm going to come back to it in the review. Now, the game, if I look at the product in itself, it is super high quality product. The paper is really good, really strong. It's a glossy, high quality paper, and it will last. It will last for a long time. The artwork on it is beautiful. It's a painting done by Dusan Kostic, a Serb artist, and it's just gorgeous. I like the fact that I personally like the format. So the soft cover and the size and the shape of the book, because as you will see, this is a book that you need to use a lot when you play that game, because it's a game that demands a lot of looking in the book to look for charts. So now, what is it? What's the idea with MYFAROG? It's a mythic fantasy role-playing game. So the idea is that what you do when you play this game is that you create myths. You're part of a mythology, and your heroes are going to be part of a myth. So a myth is like a story that explains all kinds of stuff. They can explain the reason why people live in a certain matter, and a myth is also something that can give you answer for stuff you don't understand and things like that. So it is really based on a mythical perspective toward fantasy. So in that sense, so and the setting in itself is Thule, and Thule is a mythical land in northern Norway, so north of Norway, and it's a land that was supposedly, if I understand it right, was supposed to be during the Ice Age that was covering Europe in prehistoric and classic antiquity era. There was an ice age there, and the Gulf Stream was supposedly warming up that era where human could have been living and surviving during that era, which would be eventually the ancestor of the European. So if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I get from some stuff I was watching about the game. Now, so Thule is that land, and the game come with a map of the so-called land of Thule. So I'm gonna show it to you. Great quality paper from the map as well. Great detail. Look, this is a gorgeous map. So all these names are based on real name. Some of them have been modified a little bit for as a fictional in a fictional way, but this land, the part of this land is pretty accurate. And look at the detail, it's beautiful. So it's this map comes with it, and this is the land of Thule. Now, the idea is that when you create a character, you play a character that lives in that world, and that is and you have the opportunity to how can I say this? You have the opportunity to experience what it is to live in the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, or the Stone Age. And this is the idea of the game. It's like a simulation or an emulation, an emulator to how was it to live in that time, and in this culture and in these situations. So and the designer when he worked on the game did some research. So right off the bat, everything there is about Thule, the deities, the culture, the language, the words, everything that is in this game is based on real anthropological fact and real historical fact, as well as archaeological and theological fact. So the deities proposed in the setting comes from Scandinavian deities of the era. The words that are used to describe stuff in the game all have true linguistic roots to the different language and maybe proto-languages that were used in the era. Again, Stone Age, Iron Age, and Bronze Age era kind of thing in the Scandinavian region. So when it says that it's an educational tool, is that by playing a character in this game, and at the same time, on the other hand, the research that has been done is that using real weapon, using real environmental hazards and stuff, trying stuff, the designer came up with all kinds of modifiers for his mechanic that would help simulate what it was in a really precise way. So when it says that it's an educational tool for children, trying to teach them cultures of their ancestors, and how it works and how it was to live in that kind of environment. Well, where by creating a character, you end up using the words of the era, using the technology of the era, and having relationship to and cultural interactions that are close to the era as well. And there's all kinds of stuff that is really great about this. For example, there is a section at the end of the book. If I can find it. Sorry about this, but yes, there we go. The calendar, the Tulean calendar, the high festivals. Now this is based on real anthropological research, and it's not, you don't have to use it to play the game, but if you do so, you're gonna end up having cultural events, all kind of cultural events, and all these events are real, anthropological, cultural, tribal events that were happening in these cultures. So by playing the game, the game proposes you to actually use that calendar and go by and follow what it was to live in this in these societies. And one thing that I find really interesting, and I want to go to the mechanic according to this, but the idea is that so basically this is the intention. This is the intention of the game. I would qualify the game as a really simulationist game. The mechanic is really simple. It's really old school as well. It's 3d6 against 3d6 plus or minus modifiers against target number. So everything you want to do, you roll your skills, you roll 3d6, you add and subtract all kinds of modifiers, and then you try to reach the target number, and then you're gonna have a degrees of success. And a lot of the mechanic is based around that. And the character creation is really old school as well. 3d6 down the line, and it offers you different kind of variation on that. So that's basically it. So in terms of mechanic, this game, is not really special. It's not necessarily modern neither. There is really cool mechanical stuff in there that are modern, but the essence of it, the idea that it's a chart based. If you look at the book, it's a chart based. There's charts everywhere. If you want to play this, you need that book, and you need these charts to follow all the modifiers and follow all the different stuff that happens to you. Like the game master in this game is called the Myth Master, and he's the one who's gonna help you create that mythological content, and he's telling the story, and he's invited to roll dices on these charts, at different moments in the game. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you roll dices on charts to see what kind of weather is going on. When you fail certain type of task, you go in the chart and you roll dices as the Myth Master to see to see what's happening to the characters, and so on and so on and so forth. So it's like it is really like when I said it's in that the designer made some research, and the game is really simulationist. It's in that sense, is that everything you do is supposed to have adequate modifier based on the type of research that has been done with the type of weapon and the type of armor and the shields and stuff like that. Just to give you some example, in the book there is a chart for shields, and I think there is almost 12 different kind of shield represented in there. So it is a really precise game, I would say that it is really solid in the sense of the mechanic is rigorous, like everything's follow the same kind of structure, and it goes on in the game for everything you do. So in that sense, you know, since it's based on something that exists already, I mean, you can't go wrong with 3d6 plus or less modifier against target number. It's, you know, it's been done, and it's a valuable engine. But at the same time, it is really old school, and if you're used to these modern way of gaming and mechanics, it might not feel really smooth at the same time. Now, on the other hand, there is a couple of really cool stuff in this game, like stuff that I really like. For example, magic users, when the sorcerers, there's two kind of magic users, the sorcerer and the priest. So the sorcerers are the one that they will use their stamina to cast spell, so they're draining themselves. So that's, and it's really simple. It's a really simple mechanic, and I really appreciate these because some games they go crazy with that. And and one thing that I really like is the priest. The priest will have there's a favor system to the deities, because in this world and in these cultures, the relationship toward the gods were really, really important. It was a huge part of the culture, and it shows in the game. And the game want to reinforce that by having this nice little favor system for the priest. And so the idea is that you need to do some sacrifices, you need to do some rituals, you need to do some prayers, you need to do some, you know, burn a little bit of roots or stuff, and to for your deities, in order to get back these favor points. And the favor points is what you need to cast the magic for the priest. But the magic is not called a spell, it's called a favor. It's because you need to ask the gods for stuff. And I really like that, because it you want to recreate, the game is really trying to emulate what it was to be in that era and in these cultures. And the designer found a way to do it with the mechanic, and that's neat. Another thing that I want to come back to is the calendar and all the high festivals and stuff. Is that by following the calendar, you follow the course of a year or the course of a month of these people in that time, in this era. And there's some mechanic embedded in the festivals. For example, there's some marriage that you drink stuff. By drinking stuff, you can heal faster, so you roll the dices. There is some beliefs coming from these cultures, anthropological research again, that if you try to heal yourself, depending on the moon phase, you heal faster or slower, kind of thing. So by following the calendar and the moon phases and stuff like that, there is mechanics that are embedded in those setting component that makes you interact with it. So reinforcing the setting through mechanic, that is nice, that is neat, and that is these are the modern part that I find in the game. I mean, for me at least, I felt more at home with these mechanic than the 3d6 against modifier, because, you know, one of these things that happens is that all these numbers and all these modifiers you need to keep track of all the time can be daunting. It can be daunting. And also looking in the book, I mean, the book has been made easy to use by taking away everything that was not essential. So that's another thing that, like, I understand the purpose of that, but when you look at the book, you open it, everything is jam-packed in there. Look at this. Full of information. it is not really visual that much. Oh, that's nice. I remember that. This is rules for formation. There is, like I said, the game is precise. It is really precise. There is a lot of rules for a lot of things. So these are based on real formations that people used to do in warfare, kind of thing. And then there is rules for how to use these formation and apply them in the game. It is like I said, it's really precise. But the problem is that when you want to look for information in the book. On one side, at first when I looked at it, it felt really daunting because it's jam packed everywhere. There's no picture, nothing. It's just lots of information, and the information is really dense. So that is the downside for me because when I play a game, I need to have like it needs to be easy. It needs to be easy. But I feel like trying to jam pack it like that with these pages full of stuff, it makes for and it all looks the same because it's black and white. So when you're trying to look for something fast, what is the page already? They are all similar. So these are the stuff that I feel that are the most problematic to me. It's about the presentation really. For me, it's the presentation that makes it daunting. But the thing though is that on the other hand, if it's made for educational tool for children, there is something relevant to that where children get to understand the charts, they get to understand the math, the basic math. Because sometimes you roll for something and you have like so many different modifiers that comes into play that you end up doing arithmetic. And that's the thing. I mean, I think that's what the designer wanted to. But for some players who are, let's say, adult and they don't care about arithmetics and they want to, they don't want to be counting numbers all the time, that might seem a little daunting. So yeah, this is it. So this is my review of MYFAROG. I would say just to summarize, it's a solid game that its intention is clear and it does it. I'm pretty sure it does it well. There's a lot to be said about that, about the idea of creating an educational tool for children, teaching them culture and stuff. It is well researched, and it's so for anybody who is interested in anthropology, history of Scandinavian and European culture, this game will do it. And yes, and people who like those old school mechanic with the chart based and skill based game like that, this game is for you. All right, thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.